We arrived in Sète in January. Cold, windy, 3 bridges with luggages, and nowhere open to eat. Not what we pictured.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Liza.
1 week in, and this is what we walked into.
The train from Montpellier took 15 minutes, €3 each, about $7.
And right when you walk out of the train station, the canal is right there. So we immediately started walking towards the water.
Didn't even think about how else to get to the Airbnb. We were just so mesmerized that we decided to walk. GPS said it was going to take about 15, 17 minutes, and we were staying in Old Town.
So no big deal. Let's just walk it with our luggage and everything.
And so as we started off, it was fine until we started going over those bridges over the canal. The wind was atrocious.
It's ridiculous. So
it was pretty cold.
There was about 3 bridges that we needed to cross, and they're tiny little bridges, but as soon as you start going across, that wind was whipping.
But we pretty much made it quickly to the Airbnb, met the host, got the keys, got a tour, and we were so anxious to get out and see what Sete's all about that we took a walk, and we started noticing that a lot of the businesses and restaurants were closed. And we thought, is this European hour time closed, or will they be reopening at around 7 o'clock tonight? So we looked it up, and most of them were going to be closed for the winter. And all we really found was fast food. So we decided to go to the grocery store, and
which is not a big deal for us. We figured out what to eat that day from just going to the grocery store, super convenient. Went back to the Airbnb, cooked
made
our dinner.
Yeah.
But I think with it being so cold out, we immediately tried to figure out the transportation around here.
We found an app. You download an app for Sète. They're pretty modern about that. And we found a deal you get 10 tickets for €10. So it's €1 per ride, which is a pretty good deal. Our Airbnb is located in what would be considered the center of town. We're right off the Royal Canal and the Rue Gambetta area, stone's throw from their local Le Hall food market.
Yeah, it's definitely like their downtown area, if there is one. The Airbnb, the building itself, is really big, spacious, seems to be basically empty for us right now.
There are 4 apartments in this building, and we have run into no one.
Yeah, we have lots of space. There's really cool cathedral ceilings. We have 2 extra rooms upstairs
that we're not even using. We're averaging about $17.87 a month for this Airbnb, which is a great deal, but it's obviously because it's winter.
Yeah.
But that works for us. The street that we're on is pretty quiet. There are stores and restaurants on it.
Yeah, we haven't quite figured out their schedule yet, but it's early to tell.
Yeah, we chose to stay in Sète at this time of the year because we wanted to, one, be closer to the ocean. We missed it a little bit, but also because we were wondering, when you're in the south of France, is it still cold? As cold as it is, at least what we're used to?
Yeah, so there's no snow down here, but it's definitely pretty cold for us. And
it's the wind.
Yeah, it's fine. We're getting by just fine. Will I find a fishing spot or be able to go fishing? We'll see. It's still early.
Nearby, we also have the grocery store, boulangeries everywhere.
And a pharmacy.
And a pharmacy. There's
definitely
more than one pharmacy.
Yeah, we're set up all over the place with all the things that we need. And if we need something more, we found that there's an Auchan, which is a big supermarket that we've been to before. So we're looking forward to doing that, but it looks like we're going to need to take a bus because it's a
40-minute hike.
It's a 40-minute walk.
So far, the location we have and the Airbnb is going to work just fine for the 3 months that we're going to be here.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
It's real lively during the day. There's quite a hustle and bustle. And then at night, it really calms down, becomes real tranquil, and it's peaceful. And we're going to love it here, you can tell. So the first thing we notice is that it's super clean here for being a gritty fishing town, but it's great. There's lots of canals, there's beautiful waterways. Even in the wintertime, it's visually stunning here. It's really beautiful, wouldn't you say? Yeah. I'm not going to get tired of that, even with all this cold. It is definitely a fishing working town, I would say. It's not that glitzy French Riviera feel.
Yeah, it's not anything like what you imagine when you hear Nice and Cannes.
Yeah, there's no beautiful sandy beaches. We haven't even found a beach yet. So it's all canals and water right now.
Which is beautiful.
That's really cool for us. The one thing that I really started to notice is that everybody's eating oysters here, and in the halls and in the farmers market, everybody seems to have this cuttlefish kind of out there for them to eat.
I think they put it in those pies.
It's definitely, yeah, and it's a weird Italian red meat pie, but I think it's a seafood pie. I don't think we're going to experiment with that, but it's definitely around a lot.
And everybody's sitting outside at the cafes, which it's really chilly out. So it seems a little odd that they would, but they're just sitting there happy with their coffees, and they hang out for hours.
I wouldn't say that it's a bunch of tourists out here. It's definitely the locals doing what they do and drinking their coffee and not afraid of being cold. It's a big smoker town for those that are sitting outside, that's for sure.
The town is completely walkable. You could just head out and you'll find your way to wherever you're going. It's pretty intuitive, especially once you realize where everything's located, the train station's north, and how everything works around it in a circle.
Right.
Very easy to find your way around. And the business hours here are a little off. Even though the stores say that they're open on that day, when you look them up, or the time that they're open, you get there and it's not true. They're not open. And it's not necessarily that they're closed for the winter. These are places that are open and we see them open on occasion. But when we're ready to head out there, so it really does take some planning to get things done sometimes, or when you're deciding what to do for the day, you just have to be ready to pivot.
We're definitely changing our routine based on what is available to us on that day.
Right now it's cold and very windy. So the cold isn't so bad on its own, but the wind, the gusts are just extreme sometimes. And so it gets very cold, but we're fine with that. We knew that we were coming in the winter time. It's definitely not what you see when you read a summer brochure for the place.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so maybe you won't be able to take that tour, that boat tour that you want to take. I do see them going out. I see people coming back from visiting the oyster farms.
So cold.
But I'm not going to dare to go out there at this point.
At least not yet.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe there's going to be a nice day and we're going to be like, hey, let's go venture out a little bit more than we're getting used to. So we'll see.
There are a couple of things that we didn't expect. We're genuinely excited to be here and very happy with our choice. But there are some things that surprised us. And if you're planning to come out here for a day trip or a short stay or even a long stay or anything similar to what we're doing, I think it's important to know.
In the wintertime, it is significantly different than maybe what you're expecting. For us, we just saw a sheer volume of businesses closed that we were surprised about.
Yeah, we knew that there'd be some closed businesses, but it's like more than we thought.
We're not quite sure if it's seasonal, temporary, or fully permanent at this point. It's still early for us to tell.
There is sometimes a sense of emptiness around the streets. Most of the days, it's us just figuring out what is available to us. It's like a daily puzzle.
One thing that's really shocking is it's supposed to be a really intense fishing town, but it looks like all the fishing boats are tied up for the season. There are some fishing boats really doing their work. You can see them coming in and out every day. But for the most part, I'd say everything's really locked down for the most part. It's still gorgeous and it's really fun to see them working. But
yeah, it's obvious that the weather controls the fishing industry and the fishing industry controls the busyness of the town.
Yeah, I wish I could go fishing, but it seems like it's going to be a little cold and I don't see anybody with a rod and reel in hand at all.
The tourist situation at this time of the year surprised us a little bit too. You do see people coming in and out throughout the week, but mostly they're day trippers coming from other locations in France. It's not international. And so you just have some families and it's still just not as busy as we thought it might be, even though it's wintertime.
And I'm surprised with all this weather and wind that we're getting that they actually do have a couple tour attractions actually still happening. I see these tour boats come in from the harbor and I'm like, where did you just come from? But it seems that
it's not that many though. It's just few and far between.
It's just one or two for sure.
The weather definitely got us by surprise. Yes, it's cold. We knew it would be 40, 50 degrees. It was going to be better than we experienced back in Boston, but the wind here is something.
It's got its own seasonal flavor, that's for sure.
The storm that we were experiencing when we first arrived, it finally cleared up, but it went on for some time and it was just really rainy and windy and pretty cold. But despite all of this, we're still very excited to be here. Sète is a beautiful, beautiful town and we're enjoying every minute of it. It just hasn't been the version we had in our heads. And that difference turned out to be a good one. 1 week in, and this definitely feels like somewhere we could stay. We've got a lot more of Sète to figure out, and we'll share it with you along the way.
When you arrive to somewhere new, what's the first thing that helps you figure out a place? We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week. We'll see you next time. See ya.